What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here with episode number 30 of our Williams Revival series on F1 Manager 22, and in today's episode we are going to Suzuka for the 18th round of the 2023 season, where hopefully we'll we'll carry on getting good results. For those who missed the last episode, go check that out. That is Singapore, and it was excellent. In fact, pause it now if you want to go and watch that, because I am just about to talk about how good a race that was for Piastri and Bottas. Right, ready? Back? Good. Okay, so last time out in Suzuka, we took second and third. Bottas taking second, Piastri taking third after a great race to build some more points, build the gap to Alpine in the Team's Championship. In the Drivers' Championship, Bottas moved up to 8th in the championship race. So we've not really got enough points. I've just been doing the math, actually. And if we were to get maximum points for any driver, let's say we got for Piastri, there's 40 points left on the board. He could take 4th in the championship if Bottas was to take those 40 points. He would get up to 6th, so it works out either way. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, I worked out there's 72 points left on the board, which means we could, in theory, jump Mercedes, but they'd have to have a very bad run-in for the rest of the season. So it's all just about holding on to and consolidating 4th. Now, we did everything in the last episode for manufacturing, refurbishing, yada yada yada, so we can just go forward now to the Japanese Grand Prix at whatever pace we get there, really. We'll check all the news items as they come in, see if anything interesting is happening. Good work. We've manufactured some rear wings. We were already working on that. That's fine. We are going to need those for Suzuka because speed is important. We refurbished our weather centre, so we'll have a slightly better idea of what's going on weather-wise. 90% accuracy on our weather forecasts is pretty good as things go, but we're almost ready to go to practice, so we'll see how things are shaping up for the Grand Prix. We'll do the race prep in just a second. We need to, of course, look at the cars, see how they're shaping up for the Grand Prix. It's a medium high-speed corner where acceleration is important. We're going to be top 10, apparently, for everything. That's good. So we need to kind of take a mental average of where we are with our car. So if we say 6th, 7th, we'll say 7th, just to be on the safe side. So let's get into the race targets and see what it says. Right, guarantee Q3 and Q2. I'm going to actually guarantee both cars in both sessions because I'm feeling confident about this one, and also I'd like the bonus. That would be handy. Right, guaranteeing a fastest lap feels like a good move because we do have the ability to get one. And we're going to go and try and guarantee a qualifying position streak. I actually feel like at this stage in the season I can probably guarantee a qualifying position streak of at least one car in the top 10, although there's part of me saying, is there more money for guaranteeing both cars in the top 15? There is. So we'll do that because we can, for sure, get both cars in the top 15. That'll work out nicely. Right, let's go to Suzuka. I'll see you after qualifying. So, quali is over here in Japan, and it's been a good Q3 for sure. Max Verstappen takes pole, but he's got a grid penalty. He took pole by over half a second, or just under half a second, I should say. So we know he's got a new engine in there, so he's going to be dangerous towards the end of the race, you would think. So Bottas will start the race on pole next to Carlos Sainz. Piastri in 4th, obviously out of place. Perez 5th, Hamilton 6th, Russell 7th, Alonso 8th. They're going to drop back behind Ocon and Gasly. Vettel, Schumacher, Magnussen, Stroll, Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, Alex Albon, Charles Leclerc went out in Q1 because he didn't do a run before it started raining, so we'll keep an eye out for him coming through the field. Lando Norris, same thing, didn't come out till it started raining, and Danny Ricciardo, so they're all starting from the back, which means we should get some easy points out of today's race, you'd hope.
Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
Seeing how they did in qualifying, Williams are going to be the team to watch here. They'll be starting strong at the top of the grid and will have many opportunities to steer the race in their favour. We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. We've been having sunny weather here today, but there are some clouds looming that might complicate things for teams further down the line.
But now it's time for the team's cunning to emerge and for the driver's talent to shine. Let's see what's in store for us at the Japanese Grand Prix.
So we are expecting rain. It's been raining on and off all weekend, which will help us out, I think, in this race because the rain tends to neutralise any benefit from having more power. So as long as we can keep ourselves ahead of Verstappen before the rain starts, we should be able to take this one home. So we can have a look at what we're doing in terms of strategy. I think we're going to have to start on the medium tyres and just plan to go to a set of inters. I think that's going to be the plan. So we're going to start a new strategy, and we'll sort of start that off with a mediums, and then we'll go to a set of inters, I think, and that should hopefully see us through to the end. We're looking for rain to start around here. We're not going to push the tyres just in case, I think, because I don't think pushing the tyres is necessarily wise. I don't think there's anything to really gain from doing that. We may have to go to a double set of inters, so we'll keep an eye on that for later in the race. We'll call that the strategy for now, and if necessary, we can go to a double stint on inters. We'll have to plan that mid-race. Right, we'll do the same thing here. Add a stint and go to the inters. And yes, I did just notice I didn't select strategy D. I was there. It was fine. Right, so we're going to go with that. You'd have to go very gentle on the inters to get them to the end, wouldn't you? That'd be very dangerous. So we'll play it by ear because there's going to be some safety cars as well. There'll be situations we need to keep ourselves apprised of. Fuel-wise, I don't want to go too heavy on the fuel for this one because we will gain it back during the wet period. So I think we will go with 3 extra laps of fuel. That should keep us going quite nicely. We can use a lot of fuel then, and then we'll get it back during the wet period. That's the plan. As I said, we've also got Bottas starting from pole, so that's going to help us out. He is going to want to push away as fast as humanly possible, so we're going to go full deploy with him. Starting first and third on the grid, it should give us some opportunities. We can get Piastri in behind Bottas, let him rear gun a little bit. I think we're going to be okay. So, without any further ado, let's get to the race and let's see what we can do.
Now we should have good weather for the race, and that will be welcome news for the teams. And there's Valtteri Bottas. They're starting today at the head of the pack, but will they be able to stay there? And looking at the second Williams car, starting in third place, they're in a really good position for this race. Will their hard work pay off today? Get ready, it's the Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
And we're underway here in Japan. We're going to sort of stay off board for a little while. We'll stay on Valtteri Bottas. Piastri has lost a place already, but I suspect there's teams around us starting on soft tyres. But in fact, the only team starting on mediums. So expect us to be under threat fairly early on, but it'll be fine because we are going to go longer. The cars running these soft tyres are going to have to come in, and I think Bottas is just going to push himself away. He's doing a very good job so far. Has built up a gap of half a second already. Piastri dropping a place but fighting with Perez. We'll have a little look at that on the replay camera so we can see what happens. Piastri getting up the inside of the first hairpin, but Perez getting up the inside of the first hairpin, but Piastri pushing himself back through, staying on the back of the Ferrari. And if he can just, this battle looking like it's going to go on forever, we might go on board with that and see how that's shaking up, because that could be the story of the race. We thought we'd try and get Piastri ahead of Sainz and frustrate him, but actually we're just trying to keep Piastri in the top 3 right now. He's not really the best at defending. That said, though, has got himself on the back of Sainz. Someone's locked up somewhere in the field. I don't know who has that. Going to be out of safety car. So VSC, excellent. We'll take advantage of that to stretch our tyres and fuel and everything else out for a little bit, just because that will be tremendously helpful, and we can sort of reset a little bit and relax. That's good. Several cars involved in a crash. Looks like Magnussen and Albon. George Russell wants to have been involved in there as well. Fernando Alonso looks like he's got involved in there. I mean, there's a lot of pack racing going on here. This is very NASCAR. Let's see what's happened here. Someone's locked up. Oh! Albon's just taken out half the field. That's what's happened. Good stuff. In fact, so many multiple car crashes, it's giving us multiple replays. So it looks like there were two separate incidents that's happened here. Albon at the back, and it looks like something's happened to one of the McLarens as well. Maybe it just got punted a little bit. There's going to be a lot of damaged cars in that situation, and you've got to think a few teams might try and take advantage of this to get on a set of mediums. I certainly would in that position, but either way, we seem to be doing okay. Anyone going to come in, or are we going to get through this without any incident? Everyone's sticking to their soft tyre strategy. You've got to imagine a few cars are coming in because there's going to be some front wing damage happening somewhere in the field. That you can say for near certain. There will be some front wing damage. There's George Russell right behind is going to have to come in because I feel like his entire car may be broken. So we've got Ricciardo, Norris, Magnussen, Albon. Alonso's coming in. Russell's got to be coming in as well. Charles Leclerc getting a lot of easy positions out of this one. I think he probably got a really good start as well, let's be honest. But they've all pulled off into the pit, and it looks like we're having two races at once at this stage because whoever comes out of the pits in front of that is going to be leading the back pack, and it's going to take a safety car, a proper full safety car, to get them back into the race. But we should be ending the VSC fairly soon. You think once the cars are back on track, we should be looking at an end to the VSC. It is coming soon. We'll get ready to go for the pause as soon as the VSC comes in. Virtual safety car in soon, says race control. We're waiting for it to come to an end, and it should be any second now, you would think. So keeping a close eye, job done. Right, let's get ourselves back on the attack and really push. In fact, we could try and catch someone napping here because we'll have saved some tyres, but we're going to go back to just deploying Bottas because if we can get him free of the DRS fairly quickly, we should be in with a good shot of really cementing this win, you would think. I think Bottas has to be in a great position. It's just going to be a case of how long it takes Verstappen to clear the cars ahead of him, because if he gets himself in clear air, he's going to be an absolute weapon. Piastri is pushing himself clear of Sainz, Perez, and staying on the back of Sainz. Bottas is going to drag himself away from Sainz fairly soon, you would have to think. So we'll try and get Piastri past Sainz under DRS and call that one a day, I think, because that looks like the way it's going to go. I think we're in a pretty safe and secure position as long as Piastri can keep his nose clean, keep himself clear of Perez with DRS enabled now. Next DRS zone. I can't remember if there's one or two on this lap. I think there are two. I just can't remember where the second one is. I know the start-finish straight is one. Is there one coming round into Spoon? I genuinely can't remember. I'm sure we'll find out very shortly as Bottas has dropped Carlos Sainz. That's going to be very helpful to our race now. And Piastri will be looking to make some moves under DRS on Sainz, and hopefully will not pull Sainz back up to Bottas. Hopefully we'll be able to sort of see a good end to this situation, wrap things up nice and early. That would be the ideal for us. We are going to keep burning all of the ERS for Bottas to keep him free and clear at the front, because as long as he's out of DRS range, Sainz is not a threat. Piastri is getting dropped by Sainz a little bit, and I don't like that, so we're going to go full deploy with Piastri as well. Really try and push him up onto the back of Sainz, get him close enough to make an overtake when DRS does become available, because he needs to be in that position to make that happen. It's got to be said. Is there a DRS zone coming up through into 130R? I feel like there should be. Is there just one DRS zone at Suzuka? It's very possible there is. Looks like there might just be one DRS zone, but as long as we make that DRS zone count, then I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm guessing there's not a DRS up through towards 130R, because if there was, then everyone would die on that corner. It's definitely a notoriously dangerous corner, as it is in F1. Let's drop Bottas back down to a neutral here, because Piastri is going to make the overtake on Carlos Sainz fairly soon, you'd have to think. He's got to be thinking about it. Let's go back down to an overtake, because he is dropping Perez at least, and we do need to just use it as an overtake button for now as we go on board now with Oscar Piastri to see how things are shaping up with him and Carlos Sainz. Sainz on softer tyres will start pulling away from Piastri and should probably start reeling Bottas in a little bit. But we just need to A, keep him honest, and B, keep getting behind Piastri, because Piastri should be able to defend that and hold Sainz back, you would hope would be the plan. If he can do that, then we are quids in on this one and laughing. Let's go to double speed, because otherwise this race will take literally forever. It's one of the shorter Grand Prix on the calendar, actually, but it's, either way we do not want it to be taking super too long, because I know you'll have things to do with your day, and I'm recording this at midnight on a school night, so I have to be at work in a few hours, and I'd like to not be super tired for that. So coming to the first corner, Piastri still having a look. Perez is catching up because of the DRS as well, but I'm starting to feel like we might be being held up a little bit by Carlos Sainz here. Piastri has a newer engine than Bottas in his car. I've not taken any penalties because I didn't think it was worthwhile with the rain coming, so we've held off on that, but it could be a mistake if Sainz gets too close to Bottas and too far from Piastri. So we do have to be aware of that at least. How far are we from the rainy period? We're still quite away from the rain period, it's got to be said. Just have a look actually where we are on the graph. We're doing okay, I think. We should be on course for making that pit stop whenever the rain comes. As we go now, having another look under DRS. If we don't make it this time, we are out of ERS and we're going to have to sit behind a little bit. So we'll drop down to neutral and hopefully just stay in a watching brief on Piastri, waiting for him to come. Oh, sorry, on Sainz. Wait for him to come in. Let's go to super speed actually, because I do feel like Piastri's not going to make the overtake without any ERS anyway, and he's more of a sitting duck to Perez at this point, you'd have to say. He's getting close. You can see on the timing screen on the left, but we'll drop down to a speed where you can pay more attention to the numbers, because that's going to be the thing here. Piastri's pulling up close as we come down through the DRS zone, then getting dropped again through the technical section. Bottas is getting himself cleared. Bottas has had a spin. Has he kept it going? He's not. He's dropped way back down the field, and now it's on Piastri. Let's see how Bottas is looking. He's not injured. Is he out of the race? If he's out of the race, we're in trouble. It looks like he could be out of the race. That looks like a retirement, and I don't like it. I don't know how he's managed to bin that. I mean, he's just got loose and gone out. That could have put Bottas out. Bottas is still going. Okay, good stuff. Alright, so this is where races are won and lost, ladies and gents. Let's go into the pits. We've got not very little choice anyway. Get ourselves onto that set of softs, because that will keep us going and give us a little bit more speed. We've got no penalties, so that's a good start. We have only one of the front wing left, so hopefully no more accidents today. Show Guan Yu right behind us. Ricciardo, though, 20 seconds behind. We should get out either just ahead or just behind him. We'll be okay, I think. Bottas still has some speed. Should still be able to get himself through. It's very much on Oscar Piastri at this point to bring home a win, if anyone's going to. So we need Piastri to keep it sensible, keep it on the island a little bit, and hopefully we can get a good result regardless from this. See how this pit stop goes though. I'd like it to keep it under 8 seconds if at all possible. That would be very nice for us. And are we going to pull it off? We have 7.6. Beautiful stuff. Coming out behind Ricciardo and Alonso. Norris probably about to come through. Luckily Magnussen and Albon are miles behind, but we're going to be in a big battle to get ourselves through the field with very little in the way of power to help us through. So we're all on the skill of Bottas at this point. Having a little look at his let's have a look at the strategy on this screen, see where the rain's coming in. That puts him on pretty much the same curve he was on, which is nice, and we should be able to get some good power going through into the pit stop phase. Would be nice to see a yellow flag though, see a safety car come out. Piastri's going to stay behind Sainz for now, which is nice. And like I said, we've got a tyre advantage, so I'm not super concerned about trying to overtake him right now, because we'll go longer. We'll all have to come in onto the inters at the same time, more or less. And if we if we're ahead when that happens, we're golden, because I don't think Sainz is saving his tyres. He's just gone for it. Alonso and Ricciardo backwards, apart from Bottas, have all gone on to hards. I don't see why you do that with rain on the way. It doesn't make a lot of sense, because hard tyres are almost the entire race distance. You're just sacrificing speed for no good reason. So I don't know if they know something we don't know about whether rain isn't coming, but you know, it almost always does. We've got 90% accuracy in our forecast. You'd think we'd have a decent idea if a cloud was coming across Suzuka. But either way, we're going to stay on a watching brief with Piastri and try and just hold out, really. Can we get him under DRS this time? Sector 3, there's been a yellow flag. We've got around the outside very briefly. Who's that yellow flag for? It looks like it's for Gasly, who has dropped down to 12th. And Verstappen is now right behind Perez. He's absolutely powered his way through the field. And he might be a problem before the rain starts. But he is on the soft tyres. So, again, it's going to be a case of hoping that Red Bull don't swap their drivers around. Honestly, if Red Bull swap their drivers around, Verstappen will get past both of us and disappear. He will be gone. That is absolutely factual. Let's go off board and on a regular speed so we can see just how close those guys are. Piastri getting dropped just a tiny bit, but I'm not super concerned. Bottas should be catching up to Norris and Russell and Ricciardo quite quickly. You'd think he'd jump ahead of Alonso within a few laps. He should be fine for that, just because of the tyre advantage. We're just hoping for the best, really, here now for Bottas. Although he has had 2 consecutive podiums since joining the team. He was due some bad luck, but also I've got some faith he'll probably find his way through here, just because that's what Bottas does, and he's quite good in the rain, as I recall. So maybe it's not the end of the world. We'll have a little look, see what happens. As you can see, though, Perez and Verstappen holding station for now, just watching the back of the beautiful Williams, because that's what they're there for. And we'll like I say, stay with Carlos Sainz for a while, see what we can do with that. Let's go speed things up, because we're not super in danger of getting overtaken in the DRS just yet. We are seeing Perez getting a little bit closer, but not massively so. And now Verstappen has passed. There's been a yellow flag in Sector 3, which I think must have been for Ocon. Feels like that must have been for Ocon. He's had a spin in turn 16 as we're going for a challenge on Sainz for the lead again. Let's see what Ocon's done. He's binned it. There must have been some other cars coming through there, because he's held some people up through being stopped in the chicane. But Piastri now has decided to go for an attack on Sainz. We're at that point where the tyre crossover should be happening. Piastri should have slightly better tyres than Carlos Sainz, so maybe he'll pull through. Verstappen's getting dropped a little bit as well, which is kind of what we want to see. Go into double speed, because I have a feeling this overtake is coming sooner rather than later, given everything that's going on with the tyres. I feel like sooner rather than later is going to be the answer. We can't be far off the rain period. Bottas has made his way past Lando Norris and is now on the back of George Russell. He should be heading for it fairly soon. In fact, let's get on board with Norris very quickly, just to see where he's looking with the overtake on Russell, who must have a wounded Mercedes to be in that position. Perez is coming already for new tyres. As Piastri goes for the overtake on Sainz, we caught that just as it was coming. I just had a sense from looking at the timing screen that was coming through. Perez, Ocon and Gasly have come in for new tyres, and that feels like a mistake. But let's watch this change for the lead, because this is where we start taking over a little bit. And I think Verstappen will get past Sainz. I think this is between Piastri and Sainz for the win here. Sorry, Piastri and Verstappen for the win here. And it should be pretty good. It was a good overtake there by Piastri. And if he holds on to it, we're going to be in a good position. Piastri, of course, the only man to have won a race for the Williams team since we've been here. We thought Bottas might get there and didn't quite yet get that first win of the season. Not to say he's out of it by any stretch of the imagination, but Piastri's starting to stretch his legs a little bit, which is what we want to see. I'm curious as to what Perez has come out with on tyres-wise. They're all coming out on new softs, which seems like a mistake, but there we go. I say it seems like a mistake. Oh, that was very close to the back of Pierre Gasly whilst trying to overtake George Russell. That was a bit squeaky bum time, wasn't it? A little bit close for comfort. But hopefully Bottas will see it through. Let's look at that on the replay again, because he got very, very close with his overtake. Coming past George Russell, of course, the pit lane kind of juts out a little bit, and he had to take avoiding action to get around Gasly. That was very, very close for Valtteri Bottas, but up into 15th, which is great because that means he's back in the main race now. You would think 4 points at the very least. He'll get on the back of Danny Rick fairly quickly. And let's have a look how that tyre battle is shaping up. It's shaping up. Okay, Gasly's got the tyre advantage on us, but he should just follow us through, you would think. Meanwhile, tyres start to drop off on Verstappen, on Hamilton and on Sainz. Vettel and Stroll doing better jobs looking after their softs, which could be a key to victory today. It's got to be said as Sainz comes in from third, making things a little bit easier on us, although it does put Max Verstappen in clear air behind us, with a car with more power, so that's going to be a concern. But I don't see as we can't hold off here. I think starting on the mediums will prove very advantageous once the rain starts coming in, because these mediums will hold on for a fair while yet, and even if Verstappen gets past us, he's going to have to come in fairly soon because his tyres are probably 3 laps out from the drop-off, and I think we're probably still 5-6 laps away from the rain coming. So we are actually in a good position, despite appearances. Do not panic, boys and girls. I think we're going to be okay. Let's zoom ahead. I mean, Verstappen's closing. Sector 3, something's happened. I'm not sure what's happened. I don't see anything on track out there that could have happened. Is it Vettel? Ocon having another spin. Was he going for a move on Bottas, possibly? He wasn't even close to a move on Bottas. He's just lost it by himself in that corner, in the hairpin. That's going to help us immensely. Hamilton is in the pits now, so Hamilton making the mistake of pitting early. Vettel could be on for a good haul of points, if not a podium today, if he's holding out, or if he can hold out on the softs a little longer. Leclerc in as well, to go on to presumably another set of softs as well. You'd have to assume everyone pitting right now is going on to softs. You'd be mad not to. It's got to be said. We'll see what they come out on in just a second. Hamilton looking to come out of the pit lane ahead of Guan Yu Zhou onto a set of mediums. That's brave and slightly stupid, because he must have run out of softs to be doing that. What's Leclerc doing? Is Leclerc going to get Ferrari'd, or is he going to come out on a set of softs? We're about to find out Bottas has overtaken him, so that's not worked out very well for him either way. Leclerc's come out on a set of softs, on a set of mediums as well. So everyone's having a bit of a rough strategy time so far. Another car running wide in sector 3. Not sure who that would have been. Albon, maybe Alex Albon for that one. He's the only car really in sector 3 for a mountain. It was Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz running wide, apparently. I mean, it wasn't that wide. That's the line I usually take through that corner on the F1 game. That is my usual line through that corner. It's actually quite effective. There's some good time to be picked up by doing that if you get it just right. Either way, Max Verstappen is trying to close us down, which is brave. We're going to have a 16-second lead over Seb as well, which is even braver, because we should be able to pull away. Verstappen coming into the pits, leaving us a bit of free air, which is going to be quite helpful to us. And I'm starting to think, do I start saving the ERS, knowing that Vettel being 16 seconds behind us is not really a threat at this point. I think we probably can. We'll harvest for a bit. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We've all got to come in for a pit stop anyway, so that gap's going to kind of remain where it needs to. Bottas is closing on Alonso now. Another car is run wide somewhere in sector 3, so we're having all the crash happiness today for other teams. We're Perez running wide on turn 1. That wasn't sector 3 at all. He's gone wide and he's let at least one of the Ferraris through, has he? He has, and that's going to be a mistake for him. He's let Carlos Sainz through. We have quite a good buffer between us and Verstappen and Perez and Sainz though now, because we've got Mick Schumacher, we've got Yuki Tsunoda, we've got Lance Stroll, and we've got Sebastian Vettel for them to get past before they can even think about trying to bridge the gap to us. So we can afford to be saving up this fuel. We are doing okay. Bottas, meanwhile, doing quite well pushing up on Alonso. He should still be catching him just about. let's see how that tyre battle's shaping. I mean, we're probably at that crossover. Leclerc will catch us, but we should be okay for that, you'd think. I'm not unhappy with this strategy playing out so far. I do think if we can get Bottas to be the first or one of the first men onto a set of inters when the rain comes, he is going to get a huge advantage from that, because this lap, the rain comes down very hard in Suzuka, and when it does come down the track gets very wet very quickly. So you want to be in pretty much as soon as the rain starts falling, as opposed to waiting for the track to get damp, because it'll be damp before you get around the lap. And you'll make that time back up in the very brief period you're on dries on the dampening surface. You'll make it through. Let's see what that rain's actually going to look like. It's not even going to be terribly heavy rain, it looks like. So we'll keep going until we get ourselves to that rain period. We'll see how quickly that ramps up, because the one thing I do want to be aware of is that graph, as we know, not terribly reliable. That could be wets, it could be inters. It's probably going to be inters, but let's be a little bit sensible with it. We'll put Bottas on the inters regardless. We're not going to send Piastri as the canary down the mine. Although, actually, having said that, he does have a sort of free pit stop already. So if it does go from inters to wets very quickly, he should still have the gap to make it work. I don't know. It's all a bit of a thinker, really, this one, isn't it? All a bit of a thinker, doing that real-time Bernie Collins magic in real time. Right, Piastri is doing well, saving up his ERS. Vettel is catching him slightly, but not at a speed I'm going to worry too much about that gap coming down. It's got to be said, once Verstappen gets past him, I'll probably go back to a neutral, purely because Max Verstappen's going to be actually coming at a rate of knots once he gets past Yuki Tsunoda, and Tsunoda has passed Lance Stroll actually in all of that, so could very well go either way. We'll see how that shakes out. Let's double the speed up, because otherwise we are still going to be here all day, and I'll be here all night. And there's multiple cars crashed. The VSC, I've got too excited on the buttons there. Okay, let's save the tyres, because that's going to be important. We'll save everything, because the more we take advantage of this, the better. I think a few cars are going to come in. Schumacher and Show have come in. I think they must have been involved in the crash. We'll see how that looks. Virtual safety car, I'm not worried about the virtual safety car. It's fine. Let's see what's happened there. There was a Red Bull involved, apparently, somewhere. Sergio Perez, what's he done? He has driven right into the side of a spun Alfa Romeo and blocked everyone off, and created a bigger gap behind us, which is going to be the most important takeaway from that. That's going to help us out a lot. A lot. Wet weather is coming, which is also going to help us out a lot, because we can save the tyres and maybe get a push on as we get there. Lando Norris has had a spin as well. How has Lando had a spin? Same corner, so maybe something on the track there, bit of oil maybe. Not quite sure what's happened there. We'll see how things shake out. Guanyu Zhou and Mick Schumacher in the pits. Mick Schumacher will have picked up some damage with his spin. VSC should be ending fairly soon. We'll be wanting to get on the back of Alonso as fast as we can for this restart and pass him, because that's going to make all the difference in the rainy phase. You can't help feeling there's a full safety car coming at some stage in this race as well. That's going to be a thing. Let's speed things up to get us to the end of the VSC, because that's going to be important, that just to save time if nothing else. We're not going to come in on the active pit window lap, because that would be a mistake. We will come in when the rain starts, but we are going to go to an aggressive off the restart, I think, just to make the hay while the sun shines analogy. Right, we've probably got rain in 3 minutes. We can afford to go a bit aggressive and really, really push now for the overtake on Alonso. That's going to be our next mission. Get ourselves up to and past Fernando Alonso whilst we still have some DRS. DRS re-enabled just in time for us, and Vettel has come in, Tsunoda in, Stroll in. Their tyres have given up the ghost. Unless they come on inters, that's a huge mistake. I'd have waited those tyres out for sure. Otherwise, you've just given up track position for no good reason. And we're going to go for the DRS pass now on Valtteri Bottas. Alonso puts us up into 7th. Leclerc is right behind us as well. Alonso can make that car wide when he wants to, but that's not going to be a huge concern for us, because we will get past, I think, before the rain starts, which is what we're looking to do. He's on the hards, so you know that's a concern that we don't have to worry about Piastri. I've just realised not burning any fuel. Good stuff. He needs to keep building that gap to Max Verstappen whilst he still can. Verstappen is I say build it, he needs to maintain it, because Verstappen is going to catch him slowly, and it is going to be a case of when the pit stops fall, when the rain starts falling, that'll be when the pit stops fall. We'll get there 20 seconds before Verstappen, unless the rain comes at exactly the wrong time. Right, this is the optimal lap for pitting, but it's not the optimal lap for the weather, so we're not going to worry too much. We are going to wait and see where we're at on tyres. In fact, I think because the rain is about to start, we're going to go full push. The rain is a minute out. It is very possible that Bottas could get the benefit of it raining just before he gets to the pit lane. We need to be on board for that to make sure we get that dead on right. Is he going to make it to the wet period before anything happens? Are we going to start seeing rain? But it happens just as we pass the pit entry. It doesn't happen just as we pass the pit entry. Okay, that's good. We'll keep burning these tyres. That's not a problem at all. Piastri doesn't need to worry too much about saving any ERS, which is good. Leclerc making a lunge round the outside. He's on slightly better tyres, of course. Bottas pushing as we're boxed in by Alonso, which is not helping us at all with the battle with Charles Leclerc. Alonso needs to be defending from Leclerc rather than from Bottas right now, but we've lost that position. But it's going to be fine. The rain is on us, so we need to play this sensible now. I'm going to go on board. I know there's a great battle happening with Bottas, but we are going to come in with both cars here. We're going to just call it a coming in point for the race onto a set of inters. We will. I'm trying to think how many laps the inters will do. I know I just had that information on my screen. We'll look at that in just a second because we've got to go to Valtteri Bottas and do exactly the same thing anyway. 35 laps, and there are 30 laps to go. It would be tight if we did. I'm just going to keep pushing. And we'll make an extra pit stop. In fact, I say that we won't make the extra pit stop with Bottas. We'll try and keep him out on that one set of tyres as long as we possibly can until we see what the graph looks like on Piastri. Otherwise, we're going to be in a world of pain. With these tyres otherwise. Piastri at least has the gap to make the stop. Everyone's out in the pit lane waiting for their drivers to come in. So that's going to help us out immensely because we should come out with a maintained gap and hopefully get out with more of a gap ahead of the drivers who are now filtering into the pit stop. Track is now damp and I need to get that data before he comes into the pit stop to see how that's going to go on tyres. Give me the data, right? That's not helped me at all. That's not helped me at all. Right, strategy view. Let's see what's going to happen here as we go. But we'll tell it we'll add a new strategy from this lap on inters. We'll drive all the way back there. On a set of hards, they go to about lap 37. Be 14 laps, 16 to go at that point. That'll go to about lap 40, which will give us a chance for a big push at the end. That's a big thinker. We'll do that. We'll do that because he does need to be making the overtakes. He does need that freedom to make the overtakes. So that's going to be our plan for Valtteri Bottas. We're going to keep him on a aggressive strategy as we come out of the pit lane. Piastri is going to be doing a great job getting these tyres ready to go, so that'll be fine. As I say, we are going to end up stopping. In fact, having done that, let's tell Piastri to also go aggressive. Otherwise, his tyres will overheat, and I think it's going to get wetter and wetter. We're not even anywhere near the wettest part of the race yet. Oh, we are actually. This is about as wet as it's going to get. Maybe a touch wetter, but we should be fine. Hopefully to see this one out. Somehow Perez has come out. Perez hasn't pit yet. Perez was too close to pit. He's going to get swallowed up by half the field. That will help us out immensely. Alonso into the pit. So Perez, Leclerc, Ocon, Tsunoda, Russell, Show and Schumacher, the big losers in that really, because McLaren have gone screw it and double stacked, and that's actually quite a strong decision in the grand scheme of things. Someone's run wide in sector 1, that would have been presumably a McLaren. I'm not sure which McLaren, but it would have been a McLaren. It was George Russell running wide apparently. Okay, well that was a mistake. And apparently someone's run wide in sector 2 as well. There's something going awfully wrong all out there. Had a crash on track. How bad is the crash on track? That's the big question for us. Carlos Sainz on turn 11. Well, that could be a game changer for us. He's on inters already, so can't be that deep. He's following his teammate in, just goes too wide. Maybe just paying too much attention to what his teammate was doing. Either way, that's not going to help him out. That's going to hurt him quite a lot, in fact. So we're okay right now. We're doing fine. We're Bottas up into 11th, having passed almost everyone, quite frankly. He's passed Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher was still on the medium tyres. So easy pickings. The Alpha Tauri, they're following us through as well, just to make life easy. And we're going to get straight onto the back of an Alfa Romeo. Too many Alphas still. We're going to get straight past them as well. I'm guessing we got straight past the Alfa Romeo as it was coming into the pit. That will be logical for us to have got past Guan Yu Zhou as he came into the pit lane. Either way, that's not gone well. Guan Yu Zhou, I think, is still out on mediums. I'm sure he's still out on mediums. That's insane. Why? Albon's gone full wet. What does Alex Albon know? Did Alex Albon use all of his inters up in qualifying? Surely not. Surely he wasn't that stupid. Bottas is overtaking George Russell. We'll have a look at that. So, again, easy pickings. Car on dry tyres. In wet conditions, we're going to make that happen all day, quite happily, and leave them behind. And if the car ahead of him is also on mediums, we're going to probably take him too. With Ocon coming into the pits, a bunch of cars coming in. Are they all going to wets? Surely they're not all going to wets. That would be stupid. If they all go to wets, we'll lap them by the end. Keeping an eye on what's going on with the tyres situation here. Because if they're all going to wets, we're laughing, honestly. If they're all going, any of those, let's just see if any of them come out. But crash on track. Max Verstappen crashing out. How's Max crashed out on into? It's not wet enough to go to wet, so I don't understand why cars are having this trouble. Unless that one corner of the track is very, very wet, I don't see how that's happening. Who is going to wet is my next big question, because they're all just coming out on more inters. And some of those guys had already been in for inters. Guan Yu Zhou's come on wet, so it's just the Alfa Romeo, the Aston Martin, pit wall doesn't know what they're doing. Excellent. Good stuff. Alright, either way, we're not going to worry too much about that. We've already lapped Alex Albon somehow. I know how, he's on wet tyres. Perez has crashed in turn 11 as well, so the Red Bulls are just giving up the ghost on us. Verstappen coming in for a new front wing. Hamilton will pass him, so will Alonso. This is bringing Bottas right back into this race in the most spectacular fashion. It's bringing Bottas back into the race. In fact, I'm going to drop Piastri down to, I guess, light, actually. Just, he's got a 37-second gap. I'm going to bring him in, I'll put him on light and just try and get those tyres eked out to the end now, because there's no point us trying to make a stop we don't need to make. You know, there's no sense in that. We won't make a stop we don't need to make. If someone else makes a stop, we'll follow them. In fact, we're going to conserve the tyres, because they'll make it to the end that way, and quite comfortably. I don't see why it would be getting any wetter. Let's jump on board with Valtteri, because Valtteri does still need to do a push to get himself onto the back of Max Verstappen, who's undoubtedly harmed his car a little bit by crashing into the wall. And see him just up ahead. Let's double speed it. See if we're gaining or closing or losing him. We are sort of slowly gaining. I think we're going to tell Valtteri Bottas to deploy the ERS he's got saved up, because I think if we can get on the back of Max, he might be a sitting duck. And if he is in fact a sitting duck, then I'm going to take advantage of that. Honestly, that will do me quite nicely. So we'll try and push up the back of him, using the deploy as much as we possibly can to get ourselves through here. We're getting within 2 seconds, that's fine, that'll catch us up nicely. We'll drop back down to a neutral for now, just to try and hold on to a little bit of ERS in case we need it. Piastri, as I said, losing time to Hamilton a little bit. Hamilton is probably in a good place for us. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go just standard. It'll be fine. I don't want us to lose that gap too much. We've got a free pit stop in case we need to come in for tyres. We don't need to win it by minutes. There's no point us trying to win it by minutes. That wouldn't go very well for us. Verstappen has got himself caught up behind Fernando Alonso, which is going to help us out immensely, because there's one thing we know about trying to pass Fernando Alonso. It is very, very difficult, especially if you're not going to get DRS. Well, Verstappen's going to prove me wrong here and make it look easy at the inside of turn 1. Is he? Not quite. Hasn't quite made it work. He has made it work, in fact, up ahead. I've just seen the timing screen. So Verstappen clears Alonso, but that means we should be able to clear Alonso as well. Stay fairly close to Verstappen, and we'll be okay. We'll be fine to the end of the race. Verstappen should have the tyres, though, unfortunately, to go to the end, as they are. So we're looking for someone to have to come in, or a safety car, or similar. Building a gap to Sebastian Vettel, too. That's nice, as another Aston Martin gets in the way. I'm guessing that was Alex Albon, given the gap between him and Guan Yu Zhou. That's it's not gone well. Perez is locked up on turn 10, which is not really the one. Weird how his turn 11 is hot. He already didn't have a front wing, and now he doesn't have a front wing even more, or whatever the correct English word I was trying to say was. Either way, Bottas now on the back of Alonso and should hopefully make good work of him. We would hope. Otherwise, something's gone awfully wrong, because Bottas has just been on fire since joining us, so we know he can do it. I'm really happy with how this race is going. Really, really happy with how this race is going. I know Hamilton is catching us, but he's got to be working his nuts off trying to catch us up. If we get a free pit stop at any point because of a safety car, we're just gonna walk to the end and leave Hamilton behind us, quite frankly. So not overly stressed about anything in terms of managing the car for Piastri. In fact, I'm not even going to bother looking at Piastri unless I absolutely have to. Towards the end of the race, or of course when we get into the he needs more tyres kind of window of things. Either way, we're on the back of Fernando Alonso with Valtteri Bottas, doing quite a good job, keeping honest. We should get an overtake. Track is drying up. That's a turn up for the books. I don't think it's going to stay dry for very long. So I'm not super stressed by that. We've been let go by Guan Yu Zhou now, I think that was, who is about to go a lap down on Mick Schumacher. That's how far the wet tyre strategy has cost them. He's about to go a lap behind the car ahead of him. That's excellent work. Good work by Guan Yu Zhou there. He's had a great race. Really good stuff. Really, really must be a proud day for the Aston Martin pit wall. Piastri still holding firm on that 38-second gap. That's nice. Bottas has dropped back behind Alonso a little bit because of the traffic we've been overtaking, which means he's dropped back off of Verstappen as well. We're kind of hovering around the damp stage of track conditions too, so we're not quite in the optimal window for these tyres. Someone coming on a set of softs might get a good few laps coming in here, but it's not worth that gamble. I mean, I could bring Piastri in and go onto the set of softs, but that rain's dipping at about, lap 34-ish, to where it will start getting into the dry-ish period again, but it's just not worth doing. It's not worth doing it. Hamilton has caught up 3 seconds to Piastri, so Piastri must have made a small mistake or encountered some traffic or something very similar at some stage. I don't know how Guan Yu Zhou is not fully a lap behind Mick Schumacher yet. I'm really confused because it's about a 1 minute 25 lap, so he shouldn't be far away, but I can't see an Aston anywhere near him on the track, so I'm very confused. Either way, doesn't matter, just as a fun sidebar for the race. Won't get enough dry running to get DRS open again before the end of the race, so Verstappen has almost certainly secured the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which is a shame, because of course one of the promises we made before the race was that we'd take the fastest lap. weren't counting on Verstappen sticking a brand spanking new engine in. If I'd known Bottas was going to end up dropped to the back, I'd have put a brand new engine in him. We'd have taken a fastest lap as well. But such is life, you know. Such is life in Formula One. You can't predict it. You just have to go with it. Bottas being held up something chronically by the Alpine of Alonso. We do need to get past him in the most desperate fashion right now, honestly. If we can get past him going to turn one, that will be magical. Come on, Valtteri, you should be able to get the slipstream, pull up very quickly on him, get it done. No, just gonna hold station a little bit. Was that our plan? Is it? Don't know why that's our plan, bud, but you do you. It's just a podium slipping away because you're stuck behind Fernando Alonso. I'm just throwing it out there. I'll give him the benefit of the overtake as we get up towards we'll come out the spoon curve. Hopefully through 130R we'll be in a good position to do that. Right, let's drop the overtake now. Push the overtake button, Valtteri. Let's get this done because Verstappen's about to get held up by a back marker of whichever back marker that is. Come on, buddy, let's do this. Let's get this done. Across the start-finish straight is the perfect time to burn your overtake, get a good run, get the job done on Fernando. Round the outside, come on, make it stick, bud. Oh, what are you doing? How did you get that so wrong, Valtteri? How? How did you get that wrong? I don't even know. Don't even understand it. Not going to pretend to. We are losing the grip on the podium for Bottas. His podium streak is about to end in spectacular fashion, you feel. And I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't want it to be a thing. So that's not okay. Come on, let's get past him. Let's get past him now, Valtteri. More overtake. Let's get this done. Push all the way up on him. You know you can do it. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. Hope no one spins through that corner. Push now, push now. Let's get it done. Up the inside. We should have the overspeed just about because of the ERS we've used. Late braking into the corner. Come on, buddy. He's not got the apex. There you go. Come on, buddy. Come on, Valtteri. Make it stick. Good job. Done. And Alonso staying on the inside as we come through the S's. It's got to be said. We're still in a battle here. We're still in a battle. It's going to be very close. All the way up through the S's. I think we've got him clear now. Just about. We should be clear. Are we going to hold fine? We are holding fine. All good. Right, tyres-wise, going to be the battle here. Alonso's on better tyres, but we're on a better car. So, that's what we're going to aim for, being a thing. Just need Bottas to pull away and start chasing down Max again. Safety car is essentially going to save our lives at this stage. We're in the dry period, but it is going to start raining again, so I'm not going to stress over coming in for dries. I have a feeling the Aston Martins probably will. Guan Yu Zhou is somehow 2.5 minutes behind Mick Schumacher. Why? Why would you even bother keeping the car out there? He's never going to recover that. Even if we get a safety car, he's got to go round twice at full speed before it comes in. Which is not a thing they're going to allow to happen. Alex Albon is even further back somehow. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense at all, if I'm completely honest. So that's not helping. Anyway, let's zoom forward because we are looking for Alonso to get dropped. Safety car is out, and that is the news I wanted. I do think we're going to struggle. I think we probably just missed the pit entry line for Piastri, which is a shame. But we're going to come in for our last set of inters for both drivers and try and see this one out to the end is kind of my plan. Oh, God, I hope this works out. I really hope this works out. Okay, let's burn through those tyres, get them in, and we'll do the same for Piastri as well. Burn through those tyres just to get him in to the pits. We're going to save all the fuel. In fact, we're not going to save the fuel with Piastri. That would be a mistake. We're going to get everyone in as fast as we can, and then we will worry about saving fuel and saving tyres and all that good stuff. Perez has come in. We know the safety car's out. I spotted it. I don't know why the safety car's out. I'm sure I'll find out in just a second. But someone's gone off in spectacular fashion. Max Verstappen has gone off in turn 11. Let's see how he's managed to finally ruin his race in turn 11. Same look-up everyone's been having. He's just gone into the wall. And apparently that was enough to end his race. So good stuff all around. That's our nearest competitor, really, out of the race. sorry about your damn luck, my friend. Hamilton will start catching us up once we catch up to the safety car. We are there already. I'm not sure why the Haas wasn't allowed to pass. That doesn't make a lot of sense at all. That's not really how the rules of racing work. Let's do what we have to do to get caught. Hamilton's coming for the pit, which is going to help us out a little bit. He'll be just ahead of Valtteri coming out, which is nice. Valtteri should come out just ahead of Vettel. Excellent. This is all looking good for us so far. Fresh tyres, right? Let's conserve the fresh tyres. Conserve everything there. We are presumably letting the Haas past. I don't know what's happened there. I don't have a Scooby what's happened there. What I do know is there is a lapped Sergio Perez right behind me. That's not something I want. I am assuming we're going to let the other cars pass us. I am assuming we're going to let the lapped cars pass at some stage. Alonso is not quite catching up to the train as fast as you'd like to think he should. I say that he's going to be leading from the green flag, but having the better tyres is going to help us in this last phase of the race. So I'm not going to stress too much about the fact we're going to drop a few positions. I think this will work out okay because Piastri should have the car to push through. It is disappointing that we didn't get that the safety car came out at exactly the wrong time for us. When you saw, I reacted immediately to it coming out. I couldn't have been more reactive to it coming out. Hamilton's come into the pits again. A bunch of cars came in for softs and mediums, and I don't know why you would do that. Hamilton must have been one of the ones that came in for mediums, trying to get a jump on us. Doesn't make sense. Bottas, though, meanwhile, is in a very good position because he is... Okay, there is an Aston Martin 2 laps down that is there to worry about, but you would think they would be told to get out the way fairly quickly, just for common sense purposes above all else. You'd think they'd be told to get out the way, and hopefully we'll be fine. We're going to let the lap cars pass. Lap cars may overtake. Beautiful. Okay, let's let Guan Yu Zhou go. Put us right on the back of Fernando Alonso, who could be on the verge of taking... We've got a front three of Alonso, Bottas and Vettel in the rain. That's Hollywood stuff. Hollywood stuff. We like that. Okay, we're going to hopefully be okay from the restart. Piastri's got a little bit of work to do, but I think he's got the car under him to make it happen. I'm not overly stressed by that. Guan Yu Zhou now only 1 lap down, I would assume. Alex Albon hasn't even found his way through the pack yet. He's just coming up to unlap himself on Alonso. Good stuff. Barely made it past and arguably through the safety car there. Good stuff. Alonso's on very worn tyres. That's a mistake. Leclerc is still out on softs. It's interesting. It's a big risk to be taken here because Perez is now going to come in for inters again. Leclerc, you'd think, has to take inters as well. That's going to drop him way down the field. I mean, there's a lot of our rivals are not involved in this race anymore, which is going to be very, very helpful to us. That will definitely help us towards the closing stage of the race, because the nearest fast car to Bottas really is Hamilton in 10th. He's right behind Piastri, who is going to start sliding his way through the field pretty immediately once the safety car comes in. I don't know if the Astons are going to get themselves double unlapped. I don't know if they're allowed to do that. You'd have to think they must be, surely. I know they've got to stay to a delta, but you'd think they'd be allowed to unlap themselves again. Maybe. Leclerc is in. Let's keep going until we get the safety car in this lap message, because that'll give us a better idea of what's happening. Overtake available, good stuff. We can't be far away from the safety car in this lap. Okay, so they are going to keep the Astons a lap behind. That's not too much of a concern though, because we shouldn't catch them again before the end of the race, and we are just going to be waiting for Alonso to pull the trigger. Have a feeling he'll pull the trigger late on this one. Just a feeling. Don't know why. Before we do that, I need to do a strategy though, before we get things underway, just to see how things will play out. Hards to softs. I think we're going to just go standard. the end, maybe? Oh, there's an argument I'd probably get aggressive to the end. We'll go aggressive to the end. Screw it. Let's see how that works out for us. Right, now push, overtake, push, overtake. Good stuff. Right. Come on, Fernando. Anytime you like, buddy, we will take you straight off the line. Is the rain getting worse? That's the other question I've got on this restart. Not much worse. We're not going to go to full wets just yet, which is nice. The two Astons seem like they've actually come in and found the appropriate tyres for the race, which is also good. They finally understood it's not going to get that wet, and they're not going to suddenly gain a massive advantage from a downpour. Right, so we're going to try and overtake Bottas as quickly as possible. Vettel's going to get dropped really quickly. Alonso staying in front of us is our biggest concern, and eventually Bottas will get him. So we should be okay there because Bottas is in a faster car and a better driver. Something's happened in Sector 1. Was that Hamilton dropping down? It looks like it was Hamilton dropping out. Gasly running wide. I don't know how Hamilton's dropped down then. He's just run wide, come back out. He hasn't hit anyone. He has bottlenecked things a little bit by coming out where he did, but either way, we should be okay there. Piastri up into 8th further back, but the battle for the lead is on. We've dropped Vettel already, and now we're going to come up towards 130R. Beautiful high-speed overtake, and Bottas is through and clear, and we're going to go neutral and just drive off into the sunset. Beautiful stuff. In fact, at this point, we can probably just go standard because Alonso is not going to be a huge threat to us. Let's watch that overtake from off board. This camera angle is terrible. Hopefully, we're going to switch on to a slightly better one. We are. Good stuff. Round the outside at 130R. Job's done. Into the chicane, and we're away. The Casio triangle serving us well. And we are off and running. And we can go on board with Piastri now. He's up into 6th. So he's got some catching up to do because of that Gasly incident to catch up with Norris and Ricciardo, who are on for some big points today, which is quite a miracle for them. We're going to go deploy, try and get ourselves on the back of them as rapidly as we can, because if we don't, the race is over for us, quite frankly. We should get past these guys pretty quickly. Honestly, we should be okay to get past them even without needing to use overtake. We'll see how that goes. As we get ourselves onto the back of Lando Norris, first thing into 130R, we're going to be okay. Casio triangle coming up. Can we get through this? We can safely, and now we need to get the power down and get ourselves past Norris and Ricciardo as fast as we can, because there's a train about to form behind us, and Vettel is getting dropped by Alonso, who's getting dropped by Bottas. Could be quite a spacious front three if we don't get past these three very, very quickly. Piastri needs to do something spectacular here. We're going around the outside, are we? That's a bold move. Decided to play it safe. Got the inside. Always a bit smarter in case Norris had run wide there, which has been happening a lot today. Now we're going to go through Spoon Curl, trying to get ourselves up round the back of Ricciardo. Haven't quite pulled it off, but going to get a good run on him up through towards 130R. Can we go around the outside here? We're not quite close enough. Won't get it going through here, but we should be able to get it coming out into the start-finish straight, you would think. He's taken a little duck back, a little bit of a breath to replan his move. Good strategy there. We'll stay on top and on board with Ricciardo. Something's happened in Sector 3. I'm not sure what. There's a yellow flag out. Spin for Mick Schumacher. Let's see how Mick Schumacher lost it in the Casio triangle. Hopefully not with any of our cars near him. Looks like he's just out of reach and not been hit by anyone, which is fine. It would only have been Aston Martins that hit him anyway, so it wouldn't have been too big a bother. But, you know, such is life. They're only a lap down on the rest of the field, so that's okay. Right, Piastri doing his best to harass Daniel Ricciardo, who's on fresh tyres. No, he's not on fresh tyres. That's excellent news. The nearest car on fresh tyres to us is Hamilton. So, do need to be making some moves, Oscar, quite rapidly, bud. If you wouldn't mind, could you make some moves? That would be the one to look out for is the overtaking. Overtaking, Oscar. Please try some overtaking, Oscar. Oscar, come on, buddy. Bit of overtaking. Honestly, it doesn't hurt you. If you overtake Daniel Ricciardo, all of Australia is not going to hate you. Just get past him. Nice and easy up through the inside there. Couldn't make it work. What are you doing, bud? Just go for it. Okay, come on, through spoon. You can do it through spoon. We know you can do it through spoon, right? Come on. Why is Oscar Piastri so bad at the overtaking? Danny Rick's not that good at defending. You should be struggling that much to pass him in a far weaker car. All you're achieving is losing Fernando Alonso in the distance. That's all you're achieving by doing this, and that's not okay. So let's think it through and let's try again. Okay, do we have enough tyres left to make that work? We don't really have enough tyres to go on a tyre strat. Come on, let's just speed it forward, because we'll get him eventually. It's going to be fine. I believe we'll get him eventually. I just don't know where we're going to get him. I'm hoping Piastri will build up. Oh, what's he done? What's he done? Piastri's run wide after overtaking Ricciardo. Let's see what happened there. That might be a give the position back moment, surely. He's okay. He's okay there. When does he bin it? I don't see where he's binned it. I guess we'll see in a second where he's had the off. But I'm not sure where it will have been. There we go, we're going to see it now. We could have just kept with the same replay. So he's got past him, he's run wide, kept his foot in through spoon, and managed to not lose too much time. He didn't damage the car, which would be my key concern. And now he's going for a move around the outside at 130R. Beautiful stuff from Piastri, and now he can start chasing down Fernando Alonso, and we are living the dream, quite frankly. Chase down Fernando Alonso, and maybe there's a 1-2 in the offing. Bottas about to take his first win as a Williams driver in many, many years. We'll have a look at the offboard of that, because that's going to be vital to our enjoyment of this episode. Good stuff. We're coming through quite nicely on this one. And it's job done. Jobs are good, and away we go, and off we disappear into the distance. Time to start catching Fernando with 6 laps left. It's a big ask, but I feel like Piastri's got the pace to do it. So we'll see what happens. We're going to zoom forward because he's getting closer and closer by the lap. And by the time we come on to the last lap, he should be right on Alonso's gearbox, which is where we'd like him to be, if we can help it. I mean, it's going to take a red flag to save you now, Fernando. We're going to be okay. We're slowly catching monkey. We are getting up there. Alonso well dropped by Valtteri Bottas. Good stuff. Let's I was going to say let's risk it. We could risk it. 3 laps left. Screw it. Let's see what we can do. Let's get ourselves as close as we can without causing issues for ourselves. Get past him, drop our tyres back down, and then just call it a race, really. We'll call it a 1-2. We're going to start going into battle with Fernando Alonso for a 1-2 at Suzuka. Bottas is carrying on his run of 3. This will be 3 consecutive podiums. He's been third, then second, then first. He's slowly getting better for us. Meanwhile, Piastri, having a look around a well-placed Alonso at 130R, be very bold to take him here, given how well he's defending that line. 2 laps remaining. Nothing to worry about for Valtteri Bottas here at this stage. So it is all on Oscar Piastri, and what Oscar Piastri can do coming out the Casio Triangle across the main start-finish straight. Has he got the power to lay down? You'd think he would do. He's certainly got the grip. Will have the grip up the inside if he can just catch up with Alonso. Really needs to be in his toe to be doing that. Saving the tyres perhaps a little bit too much there for my liking as Oscar Piastri. Has to be said. Let's see how we're closing on tyres with Alonso. It'll be fine. We'll get to the end. But Fernando Alonso is the real target for us as Bottas is rapidly approaching the halfway point in the lap to take us on to the final lap. So meanwhile, Piastri going for a move here up the inside. Is he going to make it? He's not going to make it. We're close. It was a good attempt. Our engineer is very right. That was a great attempt, but it wasn't quite the one. We are looking at trying to get through Spoon. Would be ideal, though, for an overtake. Alonso's gone very defensive, but we should have the traction to go around the outside if we need to. We're not going to do it. Alonso saving his tyres a little bit, maybe. Okay, here we are, going for the move now up towards 130R. We should be able to make this happen past the support pits. Can we do it this time? We should have the overspeed. We should be able to keep our toe in. We're doing okay around the outside here. Should make it move. Making a move, and we've got a 1-2. We are happy and free. Everyone is delighted with that in the Williams camp. I'm sure we will watch the celebration for that one on the replay. Absolutely for certain. We are taking the 1-2 on the last lap now as well with Bottas, who is about to lap Sergio Perez, just to add insult to injury. But what an overtake there. Job done on Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion. And the 1-2, you couldn't make it up, is on its way. The 1-2 is coming to Williams this time around. Great celebrations in the garage for the 1-2. I do hope we get to see the podium celebrations after this race. They're not great at showing them to us. I think because they've not got a head model for Piastri. I think that's why we don't see it when Piastri's on the podium. Either way, that's fine. Piastri is well behind Bottas right now. We're going to drop down to a standard because there's no point us dragging these tyres to the end. There is no point. We will still build a gap to Alonso. We are in a faster car after all. We can defend if we need to. Bottas is just casually taking this one home, I think. But let's go to aggressive just to try and keep Alonso behind us. That'll be helpful. We'll go with it. Right. Let's go and watch Valtteri Bottas go through Spoon for the last time. He is, as I said, right on the back of Sergio Perez as well, which is going to be very, very embarrassing for Red Bull in this race. We should be able to see him in the same shot. We did just then. And Perez will just about get to round his last lap of the race as he tries to chase down Mick Schumacher. Not sure why he's even trying at this point. Better off just pulling to the pits and let us go. Another driver is locked up somewhere in Sector 3. I don't know who that would have been. It wasn't us. So that I don't care about. And we're coming across the line for... It's a win. Magnussen crashes on turn 11, so we'll check that out before we see Piastri cross the line. What's going on with K-Mac here? He's just going to bin it of his own accord, I think, and not the time to crash. He's let the Ferraris go. I don't know if the Ferraris are going to get any points out of this race. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I don't remember seeing them in the points when I last looked at the timing tree. I mean, to be fair, I haven't been looking that closely for Ferraris and where they are. The Ferraris aren't anywhere near any points, and in fact, there's only one Mercedes in the running. Good stuff there. Let's watch Valtteri Bottas cross the line, and beautiful stuff. Doesn't do any celebratory weaving. Too good a guy for the celebratory weaving. Piastri makes it the 1-2 quite comfortably. There's a yellow flag out on circuit, presumably for Kevin Magnussen's little accident. Kevin Magnussen he's actually out. That's a shame because he still would have finished ahead of Perez and Zhou. In fact, he will still finish ahead of Zhou and Albon because they're a lap down on him. There you go. There's a fun racing rulebook thing for us all. Everyone's crossing the line now. All going to look good. Perez will jump him. Guan Yu Zhou won't get the opportunity, unfortunately, to jump Kevin Magnussen. But such is life, and Alex Albon will follow through. That'll be the end of the race. I mean, Perez had no chance of catching up that 36-second gap on Mick Schumacher. Not even entirely sure why he was trying. But, that's racing. We're doing well. Good stuff on the final tours of the track. And Bottas, there we go. Valtteri Bottas, your winner today, has done everything we asked of him. And has led us to the podium, has led us to much better things. I'm starting to think if I had him all season, if I brought him in when I was first thinking of bringing him in, maybe we'd be in the title fight at this stage. But, you live and you learn. And we've still got him for next season. The title fight could still happen for Valtteri Bottas. It's not out of the realms of possibility. But all of the drivers now have crossed the line. So we should get some nice post-race celebrations right about now.
What a phenomenal job Valtteri Bottas did today. Williams have got to be happy with their results here. This was good work.
Yep, they managed to bring everything together. Strategy, engineering and driving. They've had a very strong weekend indeed.
And after this result, the team is fourth in the constructor standings.
Coming up next, will be crossing the pond all the way to Texas for the twists and turns of the United States Grand Prix.
Okay, so next stop, Austin. Fernando Alonso coming up 17 places in that race. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. But the big headline is the 1-2, the 18 points. We've picked up 13 points on Mercedes in our hunt to track them down. AlphaTauri get their first points of the season through Sebastian Vettel, which I think leaves only Aston Martin without points at this stage in the season. Oscar Piastri, with his second place, moves up right behind George Russell in the Drivers' Championship, and Valtteri Bottas is potentially also going to leap George Russell at this rate. Meanwhile, in the Constructors, we are now 41 points behind Mercedes, so still very, very possible we can overtake them. We've had 1 win, 5 podiums, 9 fastest laps, and a pole position to show for this season. That's worked out okay for us. Okay, so Oscar Piastri doesn't get any experience points. Valtteri Bottas, no experience points. Might get one for David Schumacher. We might get lucky. We'll see how that goes. I'm not too certain. Either way, it's worked out nicely. We've got bonuses handed out like candy today, but that's all fine because the sponsors are still paying the bills, and that's another race in the books for us. Let's see what we can do post-race with the post-race admin. Hopefully we'll have something to do in terms of stuff to spend on improving our team. Design complete for the side pods. That's a pretty special occasion. That means I can now start building some side pods. Actually manufacture the side pods. We're also going to get some more brain words. So the suspension again. I have no idea what's just happened there. No idea what's just happened there. That definitely just said we had a side pod we're manufacturing already. I remember. I was there. That's okay. We've got plenty of time before the Grand Prix. We'll work on that. Right, we're going to do a research job anyway. That's going to be a thing for us. We're going to do an underfloor research because this really does help the speed of the car through the corners. We will drop, I was going to say the rest of our ATR into it, but we're going to get another new part in a few days. We'll drop half our ATR into it. That's a good plan. And we'll drop half our wind tunnel hours into it. And hopefully we'll get something good going here. We're going to have high-speed performance. That's going to be a key thing for us. Hopefully that will help us. We're not going to negate too much here, I don't think. Drag reduction is going to be a big deal for us. In fact, I feel like we should just go all the research into it. In fact, John, let's just stick with the preset high-speed performance for now. That should help us out. We need to get that done before the end of December, and we will do. Jobs are good. Right, we've got that project in the books. That's a good start. Right, I think, cancel the side pods project on the 4. That'll be fine. We'll just stop building side pods for that project, and we'll start building side pods for the new project, and that will help us out, because then we'll have all the shiny new parts on our car for the next race, which is good. I just want to make sure we get enough in for the race. 12 days. I feel like I'm going to emergency 2. Just because then we'll have them spot on the car at the start of the race weekend, and then we can manufacture the rest at a fairly leisurely pace. That will be okay for us. So we'll do 4 more side pods. We don't burn through them a lot. It will be the last iteration of these side pods, so it just gets them on the car. We'll put the side pods on. Let's see how good these new side pods are in terms of building up the car, shall we? They are going to take us from quick to much quicker. I would be very concerned if I was one of the other cars on the grid at this point, because we're about to get a lot faster. Let's look at the development points to spend. David Schumacher gets yet another one, which we're going to put on his smoothness, because I'd like him to use his tyres a bit better when I use them in practice. Staff-wise, anyone getting anything there? No winners, no winners. Right, let's have a last look at what's going on in our designing and whatnot, debriefs. Valtteri Bottas could improve his smoothness, sure. I'm sure he could, but he's currently winning, so I'm not going to cry too much. We've taken the victory. Everyone very happy with Valtteri Bottas. Essentially a lights to flag victory. And Charles Leclerc just doing what he needed to do to stay in front of the Drivers' Championship, 122 points, 2 points ahead of Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz, the reigning world champion, on 111 points, which is very, very nice. And there's confirmation. We've got new side pods, the car got faster, and we're all happy. Okay, so we're going to come back in the next episode then for the United States Grand Prix at Austin, where hopefully we can get another big result. I think we probably can. If you haven't done already, guys, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, share it with your friends, leave the comments. Tell me what you think we're going to do next season. Do you think next season we're going to be able to sneakily get involved in a title hunt? Might do now with Valtteri Bottas is on board. You never know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I have as always been Chasing Lamely. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a good one.